I'm Walter Grayson, 70, a retired mechanic who built a life of grit and love. My son, Nathan, was my world. When he married Lisa, I welcomed her like a daughter. They had 2 kids, my grandkids, Lily and Max. I gave them my house, a cozy 3-bedroom worth $800,000, to help them settle. I moved into a small apartment nearby, happy to see them thrive. But one day, everything changed. The hook, they left me stranded on a highway, thinking I'd beg for mercy. One decision later, I sold their house from under them. It was a family road trip to visit Nathan's in-laws. I was invited, thrilled to spend time with Lily and Max. We piled into their SUV, laughter filling the air. But an hour into the drive, Lisa started arguing with me over nothing, my old-fashioned advice about the kids. Nathan stayed silent. At a gas station, I stepped out to stretch my legs. They drove off. No warning, no call. I stood on the highway, dust settling, my heart sinking. Hours later, a trucker gave me a lift home. Lisa texted, "You're too much trouble, Walter." Nathan didn't reply. I sat in my apartment, staring at the walls. The house I'd given them wasn't just bricks, it was my life's work. I'd fixed every pipe, painted every wall. Now, they'd tossed me aside like trash. But I wasn't helpless. I'd learned to fight in my mechanic days, outsmarting shady suppliers. This was personal. I wasn't going to beg, I was going to act. Back home, I tried calling Nathan. No answer. Lisa blocked me. My grandkids' voices were a memory now. Neighbors told me Lisa was bragging about finally getting rid of me. She threw parties in my old house, inviting strangers while I sat alone. My health wasn't great, bad knees, high blood pressure, but my mind was sharp. I dug into the house's paperwork. I'd gifted it to Nathan, but the deed had a clause, I retained a life estate, meaning I could reclaim it under certain conditions. Lisa didn't know. Nathan probably forgot. I called my old friend, Carla, a real estate lawyer. Over coffee, I spilled everything. "Walter, you've got leverage," she said, pointing to the clause. "If they've breached the agreement, like abandoning you, you can take it back." I nodded, anger mixing with hope. I wasn't just fighting for the house, I was fighting for respect. Lisa thought she'd won, but I'd show her I wasn't invisible. I started watching them. Not creeping, just observing. Lisa was spending wildly, new cars, a hot tub, while Nathan worked long hours. The kids looked unhappy, missing school events. I hated seeing them like that, but I needed a plan. I wasn't going to storm in. I'd wait for the right moment to strike. I needed proof of their neglect. Carla suggested documenting everything. I saved Lisa's text, got the trucker's statement about finding me, and noted every ignored call. Neighbors shared stories, Lisa badmouthing me, saying I was useless. I also found out she was renting out my old garage for extra cash, without my consent, violating the deed's terms. I contacted Vince, a private investigator I'd met fixing his car years ago. "Find out what Lisa's hiding," I told him. Vince uncovered dirt. Lisa was in debt, maxing out credit cards Nathan didn't know about. She'd even lied about her job, she'd been fired months ago. Nathan was clueless, thinking she was still a consultant. My heart ached for him, but he'd let this happen. I visited the kids' school, chatting with their teacher. Lily and Max were struggling, acting out. "They miss you," she said. That hurt more than the highway. I wasn't just fighting for me now, it was for them, too. I started planning. Selling the house would be my last resort, but I'd make sure Lisa felt the consequences of her actions. I didn't want to destroy Nathan, but Lisa had to go. I sent him a letter, certified, reminding him of the life estate clause. "You've breached our agreement," I wrote. "I can reclaim the house." No response. Lisa probably intercepted it. Fine, I'd escalate. I met Carla at her office, and we drafted a legal notice demanding they vacate or face eviction. I didn't want to kick them out, but I needed them to feel the pressure. Vince found more. Lisa was planning to refinance the house to pay her debts, forging Nathan's signature. That was my opening. I called a real estate agent, Susan, who'd known my family for years. Quietly list the house, I said. Don't mention my name. Susan was shocked but agreed. The market was hot, $900,000 was doable. I'd sell it and split the profits with Nathan, but only after Lisa was out of the picture. I left a voicemail for Nathan, check the deed, son. You're losing everything. I knew Lisa would hear it. Good. Let her sweat. That night, I saw her car speed out of the driveway. She was rattled. I smiled, sipping my coffee. The game was on. Lisa showed up at my apartment, furious. You can't sell our house, she screamed. I stayed calm. It's my house, Lisa. You forgot that. I showed her the deeds clause. Her face paled. She tried to play nice, saying it was a misunderstanding. I wasn't buying it. You left me on a highway, I said. You're done. She stormed out, threatening lawyers. I called Carla. She's bluffing, Carla said. She's got no case. Nathan finally called. Dad, what's going on? His voice was shaky. I told him about Lisa's debts, the forgery, the garage rentals. He didn't want to believe it, but I sent him Vince's evidence. Check your accounts, I said. He went quiet. I hated hurting him, but he needed to see the truth. The house listing went live. Susan got offers fast. I told her to hold off, I wanted Nathan to decide his future. Lisa, meanwhile, was spiraling. Neighbors saw her yelling at delivery guys, her perfect image cracking. I felt a pang of guilt, but then I remembered the highway. No mercy. Nathan came to my apartment, eyes red. He'd checked the accounts. Lisa had drained their savings. I didn't know, Dad, he said. I hugged him. You're my son. We'll fix this. I told him about the sale. The house is gone unless you act, I said. Ditch Lisa, and we'll split the profits. Start fresh. He nodded, tears falling. Susan called, a buyer offered $950,000. I accepted, using my life estate rights. Lisa tried to block it, but Carla shut her down. The sale closed in weeks. Nathan filed for divorce, moving into a rental with the kids. I gave him half the money, $475,000, to rebuild. Lisa got nothing, the deed protected me legally. She moved in with her parents, humiliated. I visited Lily and Max, bringing their favorite cookies. They ran to me, laughing. Grandpa, you're back. My heart swelled. The house was gone, but family wasn't. Nathan apologized, promising to be better. I believed him. We were starting over, stronger. Nathan and I met weekly, talking over coffee. He opened up about Lisa's control, how she'd guilt him into silence. I didn't judge. I'd raised him to trust, and she'd exploited that. We took the kids to the park, their laughter healing us both. I rented a bigger apartment, with rooms for Lily and Max. They loved sleepovers, begging for my old mechanic stories. The town buzzed about Lisa's downfall. She'd lost her friends, her reputation. I didn't gloat, I'd gotten what I wanted, my family back. Nathan used his share of the money to start a small business, a car repair shop. I helped, teaching him tricks from my days. He was good, better than I expected. Pride replaced my anger. Carla checked in, ensuring the sales paperwork was ironclad. Lisa tried one last lawsuit, but it collapsed. She was done. I looked at my grandkids and knew I'd made the right call. The house was just a thing, family was everything. Nathan's shop took off. Customers loved his honesty, a trait Lisa had tried to bury. I worked part-time, tinkering with engines, feeling useful again. Lily and Max helped, passing tools and giggling. We were a team. I bought a small house nearby, nothing fancy, but mine. Nathan and the kids visited often, filling it with life. I ran into Susan at the grocery store. "You did good, Walter," she said. "The new owners love the house." I smiled. It didn't sting anymore. I'd let go of the past. Nathan was dating again, a kind teacher named Emma. She adored the kids, and they liked her. I stayed out of it, but I saw hope in Nathan's eyes. Lisa sent a letter, begging for money. I didn't reply. She'd made her choices. I focused on my grandkids, teaching them to ride bikes, just like I'd taught Nathan. The highway betrayal felt distant now, a scar that had faded. The town rallied around us. Neighbors brought casseroles, shared stories of Lisa's lies. The kids' teacher invited me to a school event, where Lily showed off a drawing of Grandpa's shop. I teared up. Nathan's business grew, and he hired a local kid, giving back. I was proud, my son was becoming the man I'd raised. Carla and Vince joined us for a barbecue at my new house. We laughed, swapping stories. Vince joked about Lisa's consulting scams. Carla raised a glass, to Walter, who never gave up. I smiled, thinking of the highway. I'd been stranded, but I'd found my way. I started a fund with some of the sale money, helping single parents in town. It felt right, giving back after all I'd been through. Nathan helped, too, offering free car repairs to those in need. The community center named a room after me. I didn't want the fuss, but it meant something to the kids. A year later, Lisa called. "I'm sorry, Walter," she said, her voice small. I listened, remembering the highway, the dust, the betrayal. "You don't get to apologize," I said. "You lost everything because you threw me away." I hung up. That was it, the final line drawn. Nathan and Emma got engaged. The kids were thrilled, calling her Mom. We celebrated at my house, the table full of laughter. The old house was a memory, but this new one was home. I walked the kids to school, their hands in mine. Lily asked, "Grandpa, are you happy?" I nodded. Happier than ever. The fund grew, helping more families. Nathan's shop expanded, and he named it Grayson's Garage, a nod to me. I stood on my porch, watching the sunset. I'd been left on a highway, but I'd sold their house and rebuilt my life. One decision had changed it all, not just the sale, but choosing to fight for my family. We were whole again, unbreakable.